Well, good morning to you, Grenada, Caribbean, Martinique, the rest of the Eastern Caribbean, to you wherever you are within the sound of my voice. Welcome to today's edition of To The Point for today, the 30th day of the month of August. And we want to say thanks to the final Friday of the month, and the final Friday that may just be the last Friday that represents the rest of your life. Today's the day, and we want to say welcome. I'm Joseph Cadore, sitting in for GT this morning, and we want to say thank you. So much that's happening, so much that can be discussed, but today the conversation, I'm allowing you to predict where the conversation goes, because today I offer you the opportunity of an open line so we can discuss matters of national interest, concerns you may have, or something that might be on your mind, something's happening within your community, within school. Getting ready for the official reopening of school that takes place on Monday. Well, in some parts, because you understand there's some areas where school is open on a scheduled basis. Others, you go to school in full, and for others, it's school, the re-entry to school takes on varied forms. So let's have a conversation this morning. The number on the screen is 435-2041. You can also make your contribution via the WhatsApp platform, or you can call in just the same via WhatsApp on 435-2041, and that's the number this morning. We go to the telephone lines. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir. I want to make a few comments. You know, I've realized in Grenada, everybody trying to be smarter than the other person. Whether it's an institution, whether it's an individual person. Now, as soon as someone reaches 60 years, most people believe, especially the youth, that they cannot count, they have no sense, or they have lost their senses. And consequently, they're trying to abuse them. For example, you go to deal with banks. They're telling you that something happened to your money or you hacked your money. Even if you owed, sometimes people would tell me that they see money being placed on their account, and then after a time you cannot hear nothing about it. So some racketeering taking place. In the banks, our institution, most institutions, sorry, I don't want to be so stupid to say all institutions, so I will say most. So those who are doing it, you could be involved as well as you are not involved. That's why I'll say most. Now, I cannot understand what is going on, especially in Grenada. Everybody believed that, what did I say? He has more knowledge, more skill, more this than the other person. And go and see the other person whom they underrate would handle them, and now they would say to put them in a bag and drown them. Now, I don't understand these things, what is happening in Grenada. People talking about education. As I've already said, education means fit to live. In other words, you should be able to make a living. And you should be able to organize yourself so that you could live happily with other people in your community or in the country. Extended. Look, sometimes when you listen to parliamentarians who have to lead us, they're saying things that are unbecoming of them, and yet they want to rule us. In other words, if we are leaders at examples, and this is what is happening, you go to maybe even the institution which deals with law, they're not even hearing you. Even if a man stole money from you or he stole things from you, they want you to go and look for the man and ask where he's staying,
Okay.
Sometimes the man, you don't even know nothing where the man is staying.
Right.
They have to get up and get.
Okay,
That's why you have people to look into things. In fact, I've been involved in certain things, not bad things. And somebody tell me, or some institution tell me, I got all what is due to me. Go and see the institution that is involved. Send me, I want to say, a certain sum. Yet for the other institution which is supposed to investigate, telling me I get all what is due to me. Because there is a lot of inefficiency in certain institutions in Grenada.
Okay, sir.
Everybody believes he or she is Mr. Noel. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All the best to you. 435-2041, that is the number that's on the inside. Indeed, we say thanks to all our contributors. Good morning, Belfort. I'm trying to keep it together. It's an open line today. It is 6 minutes gone past the hour in the morning time. You can feel free to make your contribution via the WhatsApp page or our Facebook feed, or you can call in directly via WhatsApp at 435-2041. Yeah, we're getting ready for the back to school. The official reopening of school that takes place on Monday, not 100%, but certainly I know for most of the kids they're happy to get the opportunity to return to formal learning. I always want to encourage the parents and guardians to make sure that you provide the opportunity and the environment for your children or child that allows them the opportunity to take active and to be actively engaged in their education process. You really and truly you want to do that. Yes, I know sometimes there's the economic challenges and other social issues that may limit your ability to fully do that which is required of you as a parent. But as much as you can, you want to make sure you play your part. Yes, you play your part. So, giving you the opportunity this morning, we had a new senator receiving her instruments of appointment. So replacing Senator Jonathan Legret is now Senator Civil Francis, and certainly we do wish her the best and got a lengthy tenure in her senatorial role. We go back to the telephone lines. Good morning, caller. You are live.
Good morning, Joe.
Good morning to you, sir.
Sorry, hold on. Yeah, Joe, the NIS.
Yes.
It has a lot of people that are not fully educated about it. And I think something needs to be done, like, I don't know if the NIS could do a seminar or have people that could go to invite the workers to come to a seminar so that they would explain, like, the more vulnerable people, they could understand the benefits and how the NIS is supposed to really run in the work.
Right.
The employee is supposed to deal with the employer in the workplace or something.
Okay.
That would be something very good, because you have a lot of people that they're not fully aware of what's taking place, and some of them they get wrong advice from people, and then they end up in problems. Okay, so if that's something they could look into.
Well, I'm certain that is something, and I know that they strive to improve on the customer service experience.
Yeah,
so certainly, I'm certain that they will take that advice into consideration.
They're not fully, a lot of people not fully educated about it.
It's true, Ed.
Because they don't know how much. Some of them don't know. Even they don't know how much contribution they have to make before they could start benefiting.
Right.
And they don't know how they could get to understand how to find out about it, although they could go to the NIS.
Right.
But that'll be something very good to get to the people.
Excellent observation, sir.
And you have a wonderful day, Joe.
You do the same. Have a great weekend.
Wonderful work.
Thank you.
I really admire you.
Thank you. All the best to you.
The way you deal with your work.
Great.
Have a wonderful day, you and all the staff of GBN.
Thank you. You do the same. Keep well.
All right, then. Thank you.
435-2041. That's the number on the inside. It is to the line, to the point. For today, the 31st day of the month, the 30th day of the month of August, and giving you an opportunity to share, make comments as you wish. Good morning, caller. You're live.
Good morning, Mr. Joe. One question I want to ask.
Sure.
Then I will make a question. What is a kid?
What is a kid?
Mm-hmm.
Well, a kid based on the dictionary definition, if that's what you're looking for, it can be referred to. A kid is a small goat, a young goat, or
Right.
it also makes reference to a kid as a young child in the dictionary.
But I wonder if I set in the dictionary. But I'm going biblical. Why you call children kid, and we know is a goat. The Bible always says, train up a child. You say train up a kid. You say train up a child in the way it should go. So when you get older, you need to bat for it. And you children call it children of Israel. All you see in the Bible is child, children, child, children. Never see a kid nowhere in the Bible. We take on you and call our children kid. And when they behave like a kid, they're saying what happened to their children. That's how young goat behave. So when you do like a goat, we behave like a young goat. I would like the radio personnel to try and use the word children and not kids, because it sounds so, the American style in there. Now you just bring it and you just follow boom boom and say it's kid. I think we should do it anyway. But anyhow, in any case, what I'm saying is that there are some radio personnel too. They have to ask questions. If you know you're going to an interview or you are to interview somebody, you're supposed to have your questions, what you want to ask the person, written down. So when you come to the question, you don't have to stop. You alone taking 10 minutes or 5 minutes for the question you want to ask the person. And that's what has killed most of the program. And sometimes the interviewer asking the question, he answers for your own self. So it doesn't make any sense. So sometimes it's good to write the question down and go straight to the point. As the program is to the point, it's not some long essay, something to the point. So you go to the point. So the person write the question down and you go straight to it instead of saying that going all along the road and making a long talk and kill the program. I think that they should be, most of the people on the radio station, I heard it.
Okay, sir.
Asking a question and answer for their own self. So let's upgrade that section at the station.
Excellent advice, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
435-2041. I mean, I've heard this conversation regarding child, a kid being the informal term. Sometimes, in many cases, it comes down to the whole thing that of semantics. But we will leave that conversation right there, right where it is. For me, if somebody feels offended about it, I will just apologize to them. Somebody else, to each his own. To each his own. But thanks for your contribution. It is 13 minutes gone past the hour in the morning time. It's the sound of Classic 105.5 and 105.9 on the FM band. Again, reminding you that you can post your comments or your comments via WhatsApp. We have a caller that is on the line. Good morning, caller. You're alive.
Good morning, Mr. Cadore.
Good morning to you, sir.
Mr. Cadore.
Yes.
I listened to the former Prime Minister today, and it's rather absurd that the former Prime Minister could say they don't want to speak. He walk out of the Parliament on your own and go and tell people they don't want to speak. If he wanted to speak, you would have stay inside there and speak. And the former Prime Minister, he had to apologize for Kelvin. Kelvin never said what he said to the teachers. I tell the teachers to be let on. That's really fine. We say to the teachers, buy what? It was a police to that's why I say, I'm glad. You have a good day.
Thank you, sir. All the best to you. 435-2041, that is the number that is on the inside. And I often make the argument that politics has a morality of its own. And, sometimes when issues play out in the political sphere, it only helps makes you, you just have to smile as it is. And I try not to get too perturbed when I see politicians. They enjoy the luxury of what it offers them to be able to take certain stance on certain issues. But the nature of politics as it is. But 435-2041, that is the number that is on the inside. You can call via WhatsApp on the same number, or you can call directly to the studio. Good morning, caller. You're alive.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Joseph.
Good morning to you, sir.
Mr. Cadore, pardon.
That's okay.
I beg your indulgence to make two contributions. One is a new one, and the second one is just a follow-up on an issue raised yesterday morning, which I raised yesterday morning. The first is this. Over the years, I've been observing, as a common citizen of this here country, a derailing of morality, you just used that word, an abuse of systems, poor adherence or non-existent adherence to standards in almost everything in this here country. We hear, as a matter of fact, people complain in this here every day. Deja vu, of course, because we hear it year after year after year. And I coined an acronym, DICU, defined as deceit, hypocrisy, injustice, corruption, and untrustworthiness, in which this here country basks daily, from the leadership up, right down in the triangle. And it saddens me really. But I want to focus a bit on untrustworthiness and to speak a little faster so we get through a little quicker. Untrustworthiness includes dishonesty, incompetence, unreliability. Are the three principal characteristics within there. So much for that. Only recently, we had the termination of the services of a minister stroke senator, one Laclette. Reasons given by the Prime Minister is that that gentleman had reached to a stage where the Prime Minister himself could not confide nor trust him. He called it lack of confidence and trust. He did not go further. As a matter of fact, he clearly told us, because many of us asked. And he clearly told us not what you want to know, is what you need to know. So as a matter of fact, he's telling us, we as owners of the business, we'll only want to know what he wants us to know. That in itself is an insult to the people of this here country. But take a look at this. For this Mr. Laclette to reach to the stage of being untrustworthy by the Prime Minister, he had to have done something negative, something to the disinterest of the country or to the Prime Minister himself. It cannot be under any circumstances that this man was fired from his job because of something good, positive that he had done for this country. No, he did something incorrect, unjust, something of the sort, but negative. But the Prime Minister refuses to tell us, the owners of the business, what this gentleman did. And this is where my question comes in. Is there a cover-up? Who then is really untrustworthy? Is it Mr. Laclette or is it the Prime Minister? Rhetorical, but it's good for analysis. If the Prime Minister is hiding from the people a negative behavior of a previous minister, stroke senator, then the Prime Minister is at equal in untrustworthiness as the said man dismissed. And therefore, I think it is important that Mr. Laclette, and I trust that he is listening, because they do listen, tell the people the reason why he feels, not necessarily what happened, but why he feels that he was dismissed by the Prime Minister. It is important that the people know. The second item is this. Many people continue to comment about what happened in the Parliament a couple of days ago. Of course, it's a disgraceful thing. But I ask myself, these people, members of Parliament, 5 of them, hired by the people, it's important to know, brothers and sisters, that when these people come and campaign, what they're doing really and truly are making applications for jobs. They're coming to tell you all kind of, we will do this, we go do this, we're going to do this, everything. What they have decided to do. But when time for them to get an opportunity to do what they ought to do, they walk out. Personally, those who walk out of the Parliament, walk off the job, should be fired. Should be fired. But the system does not permit that. So they will walk back in very soon again and take up duties as normal. And the lack of concern and respect for the people goes under the mat, under the rug, as we say. Here's an opportunity for the opposition members to get in the fray and ask questions to seek answers. For instance, listening to the utterances of the Minister for Finance and the amount, the figures that were cast out there or exposed to us recently. There are very many questions have to be asked there, very many. I heard one that stands out at me. It's the Ministry of MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, headed by Andy. Right? Where I don't hear him these days giving figures of implementation, 70% and what. Where is he? I want to hear him.
Okay.
$14 million, a couple $1 million, well, going for, is it? Correct me if I'm wrong. But millions of dollars going for housing. No, come on, brothers and sisters. This is the thing that the head of the opposition has to be in there questioning. I see this budget, this supplementary budget, as a scheme. And I want before I go introduce a word to brothers and sisters Grenadians. Check it out yourself. I remember it sitting here there. The word diabetes. Yes, it's the same word diabetes, but it's not the illness diabetes mellitus. No.
Okay.
It means, as an original Greek word, siphon, suction, incessant bleeding and hemorrhage, funneling. Grenada and the system that it has set up to run its affairs is nothing but diabetes. This government, which was voted in to correct the ills of the past, is today worse than the previous one. Irresponsible, disrespectful, and giving greater impetus to the diabetes and the bleeding and the sucking of this country. Woe be unto them, because Grenada has to change. And until the Grenadian people understand that we're being fooled and we're being misled by these people who clamor democracy and know nothing about it, it is time that you open your God-blessed eyes and let mine be the goddamn one. Have a nice day, will you, sir?
All the best to you. 452041 is still the point for today, Friday, the 30th day of the month of August. The number to get through on the inside, 435-2041 for both direct access to the studio, or you can call via WhatsApp. You can also feel free to share your comments via the Facebook page. And I'm just going to double check to see. And just for the purpose of those who may post comments on Facebook, let me let you know quite early that in many cases, what I would do is to paraphrase that which is being posted for various reasons. Persons who write on social media, I would then paraphrase it for the purpose of ease of communication on the airs or as it is. So I know persons, when they do make comments, they want it to be read verbatim. That's not always possible, but I will try as much as possible to ensure that your information is communicated. 435-2041, and that is the number that is on the inside. There's a lot of questions that is being asked. There are a lot of queries, and we'll entertain this caller at this time. Good morning, caller.
Hi, good morning to you and Joe. A couple of things. I have not followed the entire morning session so far, but I've heard a little bits and pieces here. And I don't usually disagree with Citizen Roller, but this morning on that matter about the senator who was replaced, I beg to differ. Now, Senator Lacroix is not an elected official. That's the first thing you have to understand. He was asked to serve on the pleasure of the Prime Minister. And that's the only reason why he was in the cabinet. There is no trade union or anything I know that governs the tenure or anything of senators. And I don't know that any explanation has to be given to him. I believe that the senator is aware of why the Prime Minister, who hired him voluntarily, he was not obligated to do so, hired him. And I'm sure he knows what has displeased the Prime Minister, justifiably or not. And the Prime Minister also knows. So why does the public have to get involved? You know, we like too much melee in this country. If a man was promoted, nobody will find we'll be trying to find out why. What did he do? What good did he do to be promoted? No. Now he was discontinued on the discretion of the person who hired him. I don't think it's a matter of public interest.
Okay, but let me ask you, sir. Let me ask you. I mean, it's a conversation that has been had and will continue. If you do something good, you promote it. You got it. You. But don't you think it's a reasonable expectation that if you were dismissed, you are entrusted with a ministry to handle the affairs of the people in a specific ministry, and for some reason you were abruptly dismissed? Don't you think it is reasonable that persons would make inquiries as to the reasons behind it? Don't you think that's a reasonable expectation?
It's a reasonable expectation, but there's a difference between the need to know and the desire to know. Many people want to know things that they do not need to know.
So you don't necessarily buy into the school of thought that we don't need to know that.
No, we don't need to know that.
Okay.
Because if it's something negative, whatever it is, we don't have to watch. The Prime Minister did this man, I would say, a favor, assuming that he did something bad, by not washing his dirty linens in public. But we're so accustomed to having dirty linen washed in public that we want to hear what he did so bad.
Well, I don't.
And to me, this is just part of our culture.
I don't necessarily agree that it's about washing dirty linen in public. I just believe what some people their concern is
they
that
want to know. They want to know, but they don't need to know.
Okay.
That the person who hired him has fired him. He doesn't belong to a trade union. He doesn't have any kind of contract or anything. And I think it's sufficient that the Prime Minister said, okay, I'm no longer comfortable with you. I've lost trust.
I just want to add to
and
this.
I could just do it.
And while I respect your position, I don't think it is ever a case where anyone is doing anyone a favor when they're entrusted with the business of the people. We elect individuals who represent and we trust them to act in the best interest of us. So I don't think it's a favor, because whether it's boy, girl, we would assume that they are qualified to do the job. So I would not agree with you that he did him a favor.
Did I say he did him a favor?
Yeah, but maybe it was a slip of the tongue.
I said that.
But either way.
I hope I didn't.
Either way. I understand your position, though.
But he hired him. He had full discretion. He was there at the pleasure of the Prime Minister.
Right.
He is not an elected official. And that's the first thing we have to understand. He is not an elected official, so he has no constituents to account to. And if he fell out of the grace or favor, we have to do that this time in a different way, of the person who hired him, based on the terms of his engagement, I don't think an explanation is required. And as much as people may want to know, I do not think they need to know. That's just my position.
Okay, fair enough.
My humble position. Okay, thank you very much.
All the best to you.
Sure.
435-2041. That is the number on the inside. I do think that once you're in a position that's a public, you operate as a civil servant. Listen, I think, and that's maybe to me, that's one of the challenges that we don't appreciate. Whether or not for whatever reason you were fired, once you serve, you provide a public service. I believe that you have a responsibility to the people, and the people at the end of the day reserve the right to at least make inquiries as to why this individual who was served in whatever capacity, they are no longer there. Because these very same individual would have made decisions and represented us as Grenadians. So I think it doesn't matter under which administration that people are going to ask. It doesn't necessarily have to be gossip. People are just interested in knowing why is it an individual who represented us in a given capacity, he no longer serves. I think it's a reasonable inquiry. But we will leave that there for now. It is exactly 29 minutes gone past the hour. I'll take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back right here on To The Point. Well, For some reason, I'm assuming my team in Master Control, they seem to though they have abandoned me. I hope it's for good enough reasons. I'll inquire later. So let's okay.
Yes, hey, brother Joe, morning.
Yes, go ahead.
No, the gentleman was hired by the Prime Minister. In any case, who paying the gentleman? The Prime Minister couple his pocket over from taxpayers' money. Like disrespect, boss man. You supposed to tell the people what the man have done. In any case, to the standard of the man and the man quality. I mean, what he have in him. In any case, just fine and embarrass him to the wall and tell him he's still a member of the party. He's a member of the NSC party, but he's not a member of the government. You know, like disrespect, boss man. Will you paying the man? Not the government, not the Prime Minister paying Mr. Lacquet. Taxpayers money paying him. And if you 5 months old, let the nation know what you have done. So keep it in secret is not good. You know, kind of man, I mean, when you this a man from high one can try.
Thank you very much.
What we are operating in Greener, this is on very, very book point Greener, sorry for Greener boss.
Okay, sir.
The way we are operating Greener.
452041. Let's just take some commentary from offers from social media. This individual says that the Prime Minister is very classy, and you don't tell a word why you fired your workers. If the worker doesn't want he wants to talk to the public, fine enough. Just to summarize, this person thinks the inquiry is that he's a public servant, and as a public servant, he should be able to stand before the people, and the people have a right to inquire. And I often say there's a right to inquire whether or not you're provided with the details, but I think as a part of a democracy that you have a right to inquire as to what's happening with your leaders. We're going to go to the telephone lines. Good morning, caller. You're alive.
Good morning, Mr. Cadore and your listeners.
Good morning to you, sir.
I want to join in the conversation. And
yes.
It is very disappointing that as someone who is in the media, who people is listening to and should be getting a guide from, is making those sort of statements. And let me tell you what I mean by that. You should so inform yourself that the cabinet is a creature of the Prime Minister under the Constitution of Grenada. Right? It's a creature of the Prime Minister under the Constitution of Grenada. And that means he is the one responsible for hiring and firing. And the culture in Grenada, as Mr. Bernard explained earlier, is that we like too much a melee. The Prime Minister gave the reason for the dismissal of the minister. He said he has lost confidence in him. But what we want, what you and others want to hear, is the details
okay,
of
sir.
that.
Okay, sir. You seem to be getting personal.
I'm not getting personal.
Sir,
you
one moment.
On the radio and you made certain comments, and I'm just responding to the comments.
One comment before you go on. The position that I said is that it is reasonable because he served as a public servant, that people would ask. I did not take sides as to whether or not you should or shouldn't. All I'm saying is that as a public servant, it is reasonable. It's a reasonable expectation that persons would ask because he served us, the general public. I understand all of those details as to what the Prime Minister said, and I have no issue with that. That's my personal take. What I said is, sir,
should be the guidance you should be giving on the radio as an
but hold on, sir. The people, but individuals are free to express themselves.
You are the one that should be guiding them.
But
when
sir,
they're expressing those things.
But here you are giving me your position, and I am acknowledging you just the same.
It's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. And I believe, Mr. Cadore, I believe we have to rise to a certain level.
Fair enough.
Our education of what is and isn't proper is something that is sadly lacking.
And
Mr. Lacquet, who is the person that is personally affected by that thing, because I could understand how he feels, but I don't think Mr. Lacquet would want to go out in the public and say to the public, that is why the Prime Minister fires me. I don't think he wants to do that.
And I am not interested in that, sir. I am not in any way
that is why I call in. I'm listening to the conversation, and that is the reason why I call it, because you people could ask, but through your medium, GBN and GIS, the Prime Minister explained and the rationale for his decision, that he has lost confidence in the minister.
And sir, I have no problems with that.
And I think that is sufficient information that the population should just say, if the Prime Minister is the head of the cabinet, the chairman of the cabinet, and he has a group of persons who is his subordinates, and he has lost confidence in, look at you work at GBN, and if your manager has lost confidence in you, she don't have to come to the public and say, she find Mr. Cadore doing this and Mr. Cadore doing this, and no. The position should be, Mr. Cadore, she has lost confidence in Mr. Cadore, and as a reason, she has fired him. Full stop.
And
the public don't have to know the reason why.
But
the
sir,
details of it.
while I am agreeing with you, but my point remains. It does not change the fact that persons are going to ask. We're not dealing with what is. People are going to make inquiries, and people reserve their rights to ask, and that's all my position is.
And I am saying, as someone I think you know, all your response should be to them. The Prime Minister gave a reason why that was done. Full stop. It is reasonable for people to ask. Your response should be the Prime Minister gave a reason. But people want details, and there's a difference between details. I mean, we need to know the details. Like I say to the public, if I'm a public officer, look at the Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister, Dr. Kit Mitchell. Calista Faria asked him a question concerning his wife. What was his response to her? As the head public officer in Grenada, the Prime Minister, he was asked something about his wife, and that is of public interest. Because if something is happening with the Prime Minister, yes, he may have his personal life, but he is also a public officer and the Prime Minister to boot. What he said to her? Don't go there. Where was the outcry of Grenadians asking for details as to why and how and all of that thing? That is not relevant.
Okay, sir.
And I think that as people who is in certain positions, we should so guide those people who are making and asking those questions and querying, and we should educate them to a certain level. Thank you very much.
All the best to you, sir. Have yourself a great one. 425-2041, that's the number that is on the inside. I think my master control team, I'm not sure if my master control team is back with me, because we needed to take a break. Again, you can feel free to chime in on matters, whatever the issues are. I mean, reminding you that we will never necessarily agree on all issues, and certainly that issue, issues of national interest, I think it warrants the occasion that it can be discussed publicly without we feeling one way or the other. Yes, but we'll leave that right there where it is. Reminding you, wherever you are, we get in there is a GBN extravaganza that takes place down at the Trade Center. We're giving you the opportunity to head down there and do that which has to be done. Let's just take in some comments from social media. Where are we? President says, caller, I'm in total agreement. Mr. Lacquette has a life after his dismissal, and I agree with that totally, 100%. Mr. Rupert, good morning. Good morning to you, sir. Let's see what else is happening on social media, on WhatsApp. Nothing that's happening on WhatsApp at this time. 435-2041. This contributor says that he believes that folks have a right to inquire. Doesn't mean that information will be given, and in what degree that will happen. We go back to the telephone lines. Good morning, caller. You're alive.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, sir.
I would want to comment, and I made a statement the other day. I don't know how you call it. It is a common saying. He who thinks that he knows does not know, he doesn't know anything at all. And what I'm want to say through that is right and wrong is determined by the society in which you live. So if we say certain things are right and the people acknowledge it is right, it is right. The society in which we live. If they say it is wrong and they accept it as wrong, it is wrong. To determine if something is wrong or right is the reaction of the society. It could be immediate society or extended society. And this is what we do not understand in Grenada. If in the early days we had learned 2 and 2 is 5, we would have accepted it. But it's because we know, we have the knowledge, the skill, and the experience that it is wrong.
Okay.
So I don't know how people could say this one wrong and this one right. We have a right to say in our mind, it looks as if it is true, something is wrong. This is my comment. It's time that we understand that how wrong and right is determined.
Well, I mean, sir, wrong and right could be there's an element of objectivity to what's been right and wrong. There are rules that govern some countries, so right and wrong is not always limited to how you feel and how you don't feel, right? So there are moral issues, there are different social issues. It's not just if somebody takes a position, because I taking a position on a particular issue doesn't necessarily mean that I'm right or wrong about it. Yes? So there's an objective position on issues, and there are subjective positions on issues. Just so at least we get that cleared. We'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we continue with the conversation right here on To The Point.
Hearty congratulations to the GBN on the Back to School extravaganza. It is on at the Grenada Trade Center tomorrow, Friday. So please go on out to your numbers and check it out, and bring the children as well. Back to School is next week, and we here at Hartman Group, we are delighted to contribute to the Donate a Child initiative. And we have given some backpacks for children to go back to school next week. Please go back to school. Your arithmetic, your English, and your writing. Yes, and that will take you through all your other subject areas. But don't forget, it is tomorrow. It is on at the Grenada Trade Center, the GBN Back to School Extravaganza.
Has the rigid tongue flattened started to jump around? Well, this is Shake One, and I'm inviting everyone to the GBN Back to School Extravaganza, and I'm also the brand ambassador for Rush Distributors, and we will be there with specials on Tampico, Cran, and other juices. Starts from 10 a.m. at the Grenada Trade Center. Make sure you be there.
Attention viewers, as GBN brings you exclusive coverage of this year's Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League, please note some changes to our programming lineup. On Thursday, August 29th and Friday, August 30th, transitions will air at 5:05 p.m. Catch GBN television news at 6 p.m. with a repeat right after the CPL match. And don't miss the rebroadcast of transitions after the GBN news repeat. GBN with you anywhere and everywhere with sports coverage.
It's 15 minutes on to the hour in the morning time. That's the hour of 10 o'clock. We go straight to the telephone lines. Good morning, caller. You're live.
Oh, yes. Good morning to you, JD.
Good morning to you, sir.
Oh, yes, sir.
I'm wonderful as always.
Have a great day. You know, there are two things that is playing in my mind. One, and I will make a call again to our Caribbean leaders to see how much they could do on the international scene. There's a war, there's what they call a war or nuclear war. We say we can't stop it, but look, we could talk to create peace. And I'm not hearing the voices of our leaders sufficiently on the international scene. to get the leaders of the large countries to realize that the wars which they're pushing, especially the United States, is not necessary and it's creating pain to the world. Stop pushing this democracy that is not working. The strategy is not working. So we could have more peace in our region and throughout the world. However, I want to send also a call to our political people here, both the government leaders and the opposition leaders. The tension, it is not serving us right. It is not good for our nation. We have a social malaise right now. The society is breaking down socially. We seem not to be able to converse with each other. And I'm calling them once again to let us bring peace. This war they have between the opposition and the government is creating too much problem with the society on the ground. And it is time for us to recognize this is damaging us and to stop it, you know?
But let me ask you, so you said war, and you make reference to that in what regards?
Well, war on the ground, which means say we're not peaceful with each other. We're not neighborly to each other. It is difficult to connect neighbor to neighbor.
No, but you made specific reference to the opposition and the ruling party.
When you listen to the news, you will recognize that they're warring with each other.
Yeah, I don't agree. I think that political organization would always have varied views and positions on issues. But to say that there is a war takes it almost to a different level.
Well, that's where we are, you know. That's where we are. They're almost on the verge of fighting each other. That's not the way you solve problem with trying to drag down one another. That's not the way. You're dividing the society. That's not the way you debate things to solve problems. So I equate it to war.
Okay.
Yeah? Have a great day, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
I don't necessarily, and with all respect to you, caller, a varied of position on an issue, to me, doesn't reduce it to the issue to that of being a war. We will always, one side, one individual would always be at variance to another. There are persons who may comment that I may not agree with, or they may not agree with. But to say that we are at war, I don't necessarily consider whatever differences and debate that takes place between the upper house, lower house, or ministers or MPs within the parliament. It is all fair game once there is respect and it's done within the borders of decency. We go back to the telephone lines. Good morning, caller. You're live.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Cadore.
Good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, all that has been talking about a political feud that I want to describe here. I think we, the citizens, should write a petition letter to the government to rewrite the Constitution and solve some of these wars that the guy described. He used too much of a heavy word there. I agree with you. There's a feud that they put in the society could be probably resolved by rewriting the Constitution. And my second point, which can be in the Constitution also, is they should take into consideration when they rewrite the situation with the transportation for the seniors and disabled. That should be written in because we need free for these people that's vulnerable. There are people who are ageable, like I said, people who need help, right? And the other point I wanted to make, I'm not going to talk to you about it, is about, the hospital. Yeah, thought that situation when they're losing so much medicine and put the medicine to be free again as it used to be, medicine and health, as part of the new Constitution to help the poor, seniors, disabled. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. All the best to you, sir. Keeping our eyes on the clock, it is 10 minutes on to the hour of 10 o'clock. This is to the point for today, the 30th day of the month of August. Yeah, giving you opportunity to feel free to submit whatever queries, questions that you may have right here on this platform. This contributor says on social media, a minister, which war and what kind of war we are talking about. I mean, I want us to be clear in this, that we will always The opposition serves this purpose. The government serves this purpose. And on either side of whatever the issues are, you may find varied positions on it. We need to get to a point where we understand and accept that there will be varied positions on issues, matters of national interest. Yes, there will be varied positions. But I don't think to say that it is a war that's happening, no, there are differences of opinions on different things. Differences of opinions, if left unchecked, can lead to a war. But what we have in Grenada is no such thing that reduces it to a war. I would not agree with that. 435-2041. That's the number on the inside. We go back to the telephone lines. Good morning, caller. You're alive.
Good morning, Mr. Cadore. How are you?
Wonderful,
Mr.
thank
Cadore,
you. Yes, good
I just want to ask, if the Prime Minister decide to have a press conference to let the public know the situation between Mr. Lafayette and he, I wonder how the people who want to know now how they will handle the situation. Mr. Lafayette, Mr. Cadore, he had a crown to collect in a house. 6 men there to collect the crown. Everybody want the crown. But when they lay down the condition, how you have to do to collect the crown, everybody lay the crown and go. The condition. So I just want to ask this question. How they will accept it if the Prime Minister decide to come and tell them what happened? Thank you.
Thank you, caller. All the best to you. 435-2041. It's exactly 8 minutes on to the hour of 10 o'clock. Again, remind you that the number on the inside, 435-2041. And we go right back to the telephone lines. Good morning, caller. Are you alive? Good morning, caller. I can hear your device. I'm assuming that you're on the line.
Diddy, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Could you turn down the device in the background, please?
I'm on the line. Yes.
I need you to turn down or move away, sir, from the device.
Is that a child with the gadget? Is not this?
Yeah, but child or not, sir, it's creating a feedback.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, I am hearing you, but I'm saying to you, with all due respect, that the device in the background, it's...
I'll call back.
Okay, no problem. 435-2041, that's the number that is on the inside. We have to leave the conversation here for today. Indeed, we say thanks for having been part of To The Point, not just for today, but for the week. And we say thanks to all of our listeners and our viewers. Again, whatever the situations or circumstances is where you are, let's try to find ways that we can address it within among ourselves amicably. Yes? So until then, I'm Joseph Cadore saying thanks for being part of the conversation, reminding you that we head down to, where we head down to the Trade Center for today's major exercises, the Back to School extravaganza that's taking place. You get an opportunity, you can attend. Until then, so long everybody. JC loves you. Until then, be good.